President Trump, his administration looking like it's putting pressure on Jerome Powell with an investigation opened by Jeanine Pirro. Do we get any more detail from the president about that?
Well, at this point, Matt, this White House is putting forward that President Trump did not direct or have knowledge of the investigation. As a person familiar does tell us here at Bloomberg News that it appears that the U.S. Attorney General for the District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, greenlit the subpoenas against Powell without consulting with her bosses at the Department of Justice. Still, it is clear that this administration isn't going to let up its pressure and President Trump's rhetoric when it comes to pressuring the Fed chair. This does come, though, against a backdrop of a broader pushback on Capitol Hill by Republicans. I know that you've been covering this on the program yesterday and today, but there is some significant pushback building that could potentially pose a issue for this investigation, as Republican Senator Thom Tillis, a member of the Senate Banking Committee, is threatening to block any nominations until this legal matter is resolved. Matt, we heard even more in the recent hours, including the House Financial Services Chair, French Hill, who is also calling this an unnecessary distraction.
At the same time, we have this split screen. The president talking, continuing to voice his dissatisfaction with Powell. Meanwhile, you're getting House Speaker Johnson and John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, speaking on credit cards. Thune saying not advocating for a credit card interest rate cap. It would mean many lose access to credit. Johnson basically then saying a lot of work to do to build consensus on the credit rate cap. Tyler, does there seem to be any appetite from this Congress in order to push through this specific policy from the president?
Well, it does depend who you ask on Capitol Hill, Danny, and we do have to keep in mind that there is a very powerful lobbying group for big banks on Capitol Hill that are no doubt unhappy about this announcement from President Trump, but it definitely does pull on the more populist parts of the policy. We can say that there has been at least one idea floated that would put that 10% rate cap on. That was by Republican Senator Josh Hawley teaming up with Senator Bernie Sanders last year. We'll have to see if that legislation comes back around in a certain iteration. But to your point, this really does continue a broader theme of what we've heard from President Trump in recent days, floating a litany of ideas that he says are geared towards affordability. But the common theme is that he needs Congress to ultimately enact them, such as his proposal for a ban on institutional investors buying single family homes. We'll have to see where it goes from here. Really, what Congress is likely going to do is that they're going to start to hold a series of hearings on this, start to get sort of a public feedback period before they start putting pen to paper on any potential legislation.
I mean, it's interesting to hear that, Josh Hawley is working with Bernie Sanders. It was interesting for me to hear that President Trump held a phone call with Elizabeth Warren, and she kind of made it seem like he was almost asking her for advice. Are we going to start to see more of the Trump administration working with people on the very far to the political left in order to put these affordability issues into place?
Well, it probably depends on exactly what the proposal is, but you're exactly right. Senator Elizabeth Warren telling us last night on Balance of Power that the pair spoke solely about the cost of living during their phone discussion. Also, probably worth pointing out, then Senator J.D. Vance once did pair up with Elizabeth Warren on a bill that would cut down on credit card swipe fees, something else that President Trump is putting to the forefront, elevating somebody else that was on Balance of Power last night, Senator Roger Marshall, who has teamed up with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin on a bill that would do just that. It does appear that this president is trying to move more towards his more populist messaging. We're probably going to get that later on today when he does speak at both the Detroit Economic Club, but also tour a Ford Motors factory plant where I believe they make F-150s. Matt, you probably know better than me on that one. But there's going to be this push when it comes to domestic manufacturing and protectionist policies that align with the sort of messaging that you're currently hearing from this White House.
They built a truck for me there once, Tyler. I know it well. And actually, I'm going there tomorrow as well. So, Tyler, Kendall in Washington, thanks very much.